How you doing, guys?
What's up,
Welcome.
everyone?
DJ Freddy here.
DJ
with my
Willy
pal, DJ Willy, the one and only. We're gonna go live in about 5 minutes, so just chill out with us for about 5 minutes. We'll let people come in, and in the meantime, you could ask questions if you want. We have about 10 questions the members from the group have asked us. So, we're going to be, we'll love to share them with you guys. Again, we're going to give about 5 minutes just to make sure that more people join the group. And we'll be answering your questions. My man, Willy.
Yes, man. Yes, sir. Ready to, we're going to answer to the best of our abilities, and we'll be taking questions. And you can also, give your opinion on some of the subjects that we're going to be discussing.
Yes, sir.
So
what we got there? We got Decade. We got DJ Peter. What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in. Just tune in. Just chill out for a few minutes. At 8 o'clock, we'll go live. So just hang in there with us. Let a few more people join in. And those of you who are not part of the group, we ask you to join the group. It's DJs, producers, and remixers. We have provided there the questions that we're going to be answering today from a few of our members that did ask the questions in the group, and they want us to answer it. So we'll be more than happy to. Right, Willie?
Yes, sir. We're here for you guys, man. Ready to spread the knowledge.
Those of you who are not familiar with DPR, we're a bunch of professionals. We're DJs, remixers, producers, mobile and club DJs that we share our knowledge on Facebook in the group, and we also do workshops. We have meetings all the time, and we all gather around to share our experiences and our knowledge with each other to help each other out.
We're always just one phone call away. We've had situations where other DJs have been in difficult moments where we just one phone call away, here to help you and ready to be of service however we can.
We are trying to change the way that it was before, weren't we?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
I'm very grateful for this industry has been very good to me, and I wish social media was around in the 80s when we began, and we would have learned so much by from so many different people faster. We didn't have to learn the hard way by going out there and
struggling, hustling,
so this way we reach out many more people a lot easier than it was before. So it's our ideas, we get to share it with a lot more people, and hopefully what we're going to cover today helps a few of you people out. That's what we're here for. We're here to give you the knowledge to go out and do the very best you can, and to try slowly but surely to change this profession and make it better and to gain some respect. It really hurts me seeing programs on television, on magazines, on websites. We don't get the respect that we deserve, because believe me, a lot of the events that we do, we're the life of the party. If the DJ is no good, most of the time the party is not going to be a success. If the DJ rocks it, guess what? No, it doesn't matter whether the food was bad, whether the cake was bad, or whether anything was bad. If they had a great time, they're gonna really tell at the end of the party. So that's what I see a lot in our profession. We're losing respect, because of a few people not doing that professional work, or promising. I guess what I'm trying to say is promising things that they can't deliver. And that's what I see a lot. So hopefully, we'll cover a few things here, and it'll help you out in your business. to be that much better.
Exactly. I will apologize ahead of time because you might be looking at me, looking at the phone, but basically what I'm going to do is so I can keep track of the questions. And if people have other questions or maybe just a comment, I'll be able to relay it to everybody. Okay?
Exactly. If you actually don't call me because my phone is the one that's broadcasting. So
and mine is the monitor.
So yeah. So I know somebody will probably be calling. So I'm trying to. I have the iPad on my lap, but guess what? It's updating. So I'm trying, kind of like. Hopefully it updates in a minute that Facebook comes back up, and then we could see your questions. So also, every time you see me doing this, is because I'm trying to peek in the phone to see the questions.
Or me doing this.
Exactly.
It's the same situation.
So in about 1 minute, wow, we have 10 people already online. Thank you guys. We're just gonna give 1 more minute for a few people to join in. We have 10 questions again that we're gonna share with you, and please feel free to to ask your questions, and we'll see it. We'll answer it. If not, then we'll have to get back to it on our next video. We want to do this as often as we can, but Willie and I, we live pretty far away from each other, so we're trying to find a second option how to do this from our home, the easiest way possible.
Which will make it easier. I mean, it's not easy to put together a workshop every month. And
believe me, it's not.
This way, we'll be able to reach people easier because you can be in the comfort of your home, even in your car, as long as you're not driving. And you can be listening and probably asking your question. Like right now, I see Juan Love is asking, ¿Qué es esto? He's asking, what's this? Juan, this is just an idea that we came up with. We say, you know what? Since we can only have a workshop every 3-4 months, as often as possible, this way we'll be able to reach everybody and have those conversations that we have during the workshops. Which, to those of you that haven't been able to make it, they're awesome. They're great. You have no idea. I wish something like this would have existed. Like Freddy says,
that's where I met this guy at.
Yeah, years ago. Because for example, I just started with my wife a photo booth business. All the questions that we had, I wish we had a group like this where everybody's willing to help, no ego, everybody's just, no matter how long you've been in the industry, but everybody's ready to lend a hand.
Yep.
That's what I love about this group. This is my first time I'm in a group, and I'm so happy that I joined DPR. I made the right choice because, like I said, I never belonged to any group before. But what I get here, what I see here, the camaraderie, the friendship, the professionals willing to help others is just incredible. And I just want to see everybody else benefit from it the same way I do, and Freddy does.
Exactly. I'm surprised that you don't know what's going on. That means that you're not checking the group, buddy. So you got to check the group, man. In the group, we stated that we're going to be broadcasting. We have 10 questions that we asked in the group about last week. And I thank you. A few guys did respond with some of the questions. We thank you. Thank you for your participation in DPR. You guys are what makes the group. We're trying to create a professional group catered to our industry. Of people who are willing, to drop their egos, drop their selfishness, and find time to help others. That's what makes a community successful. So without further ado, I think we got 10 people online, man.
Yes, that's awesome.
Hopefully they stay there. So let's get right down to it. Let me log on here on my iPad because it was updating and I couldn't do it. I'm sorry about that. This is our first one. So we're learning, okay? Exactly. We're going to be learning as we go.
And I want to thank, DJ Lewis, Juan, Johnny, Ramon, Walter, Decade. Thanks, guys, for being here. And before we even start with the first questions, one small disclaimer. We are going to answer the questions to the best of our ability and based on our experiences. Everybody is different. Everybody has their own experience, which he's been through. So this is just for us.
Our opinion.
Our opinion. Just the way.
Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's wrong.
Exactly.
This is just my company is danceonightdjs.com, and his company is
DJ Willy Mix Sound Productions.
So based on our company, our experience, I've been spinning for over 30 years.
Me too. I want to keep it down a little bit. Yeah. Been doing this for a while.
I just said how old I was, right? So based on our experiences, that's what we're gonna share with you guys. Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's wrong. Doesn't mean how you doing it is right or wrong. It's just maybe. You gain something from what we have to share today, to maybe, you do it your way with a little bit of our touch to it. And, that's what we're trying to gain here.
Yeah, and we're going to learn from you guys as well. Because, like Freddy says, it doesn't mean that the way we do it is the perfect way. But it's the way we've been doing it, and we've been... successful so
Pretty
far.
successful, right?
Okay.
So let me just log on to the group here, and we'll be ready to go. So Willie, so far, how you like the group? Has the group been successful to you?
To me, it's been great. Honestly, I've met so many professionals that right here in my backyard had no idea that we're so close, and we all share the same desire that we love what we do, which is entertain. I mean, thank God I love what I do. I do this because I love it. God gave me gave me the ability to learn and to be able to entertain other people. So being part of this group, it's been an enhancement to me, to what I know and what I've been learning, because I learn every time. Even from the last workshop, I learned a lot about lighting. Our man Leroy was there.
Oof,
the man
Leroy
has
Owens. Oh boy,
experience in the industry, and as long as we've been playing, both of us, we're still learning. And so to me, it's been great. Now you, Freddy.
Awesome. Okay, I think we're about ready, man.
Yes.
We got 15 guys on.
Good,
Man, amazing.
good.
Our first time, huh?
Excellent.
Excellent. So before we begin, I want to thank my wife, because without her, we wouldn't have this awesome studio,
Exactly.
man. All we needed is some uplights
There
or
you go,
something.
man.
But thank you. So let's dig down deep to it, man. Our first question of the night. Here it goes. What to do when a client doesn't give you a playlist in time, but gives you 100 tracks long the morning of your gig?
Okay. I've had the situation happen to me, specifically when I work as a contractor, when I work for somebody else. It could be because they might be communicating with the person who's really handling the job, or maybe not. But I try to get as many songs as possible without affecting my plan on how I'm going to, load my equipment and be there on time. Now, what I decided, since that had happened to me a couple of times, I added in my contract a little clause that says, and you have to initialize it, that you have 7 days before the gig to give me all your changes. There might be situations where maybe, let's say something specific, like the first dance, maybe a father-daughter
Right.
dance, that she was a little iffy about it, I might give her a break. But other than that, as far as dancing playlist, it has to be given to me, specifically for a wedding, 7 days before.
Exactly. I also I use DJ Intelligence in my company, and I always send them a link to log on, and I insist always to have all your songs ready at least 4 or 5 days before your event. So 3 days prior to your event, they're going to be blocked out. They can't do any changes to the list. Okay, why do I do that? Because the week of, I always print out the list and I transfer that list to a flashcards. Okay, I transfer all the names to flashcards. So when I introduce the wedding party, I have a flashcard and I introduce it. So why do I want it? Because if she changes that list I want to know what are the changes. So that's why I block out the dates, okay, that she could edit, and she would have to email me and let me know, Freddie, I have a change on a name, I have a change of the song or whatever it is, so I could make sure that I scratch it out on my list, just to make sure. But also, not only the special dances, but this question was referring to music that you're gonna play during the dance. And what he states is he got a list of about 100 songs the day of the party. So for instance, you sleeping, you just wake up, and all of a sudden you check your email, and bam, you get an email from your client saying, I need all these songs to be played. What can we do about it? Obviously, not really much that day. I mean, in this case, I would call the client and I would say, listen, this list is kind of long. Your event is only 4 or 5 hours away. So whatever I have on my playlist, that's what I'm going to play. If I don't have it, I try to get it that day when I'm there at the party. But if I don't have it, it's too short in advance. That's why it's important, like Willie says, make sure you talk to your clients and you let them understand, hey, first of all the names of the bridal party, all the special dances, all the special announcements, and especially all the songs you want me to play that day of has to be in writing, and it has to be on my desk. If your event is on Thursday, it has to be on Saturday. It has to be on my desk and on my list by Thursday, no later than that, because I need to have at least 2-3 days to download the music.
And especially, let's say right now we have our high season, which is basically December. If I have 3 events and all 3 decide to send me a list 2-3 days before, there's no way I'm going to be able to handle 50 songs, 100 songs per event when it's already Thursday.
We're not even going to play 100 songs in an event.
It's impossible. Even if you mix them a minute apart, a minute each, you're not going to have enough time for that. But I know sometimes they usually want to pick the one that you don't have is the one that they want to complain about.
Exactly.
So
yeah, my recommendation to the DJ who asked that question is, talk to your client, make sure they understand. Anything you want me to play, make sure it's on my desk. I would recommend at least if your event is on Saturday, at least by Monday, have everything, all the lists filled out and then when you call your clients, you make sure that, hey, this is everything that you gave me is this correct? This is the pronunciation of the names. Did I pronounce them right? Everything you go over with your client just to make sure. And of course, if there are some changes, from 2-3 days prior, we all try to please our clients the most as possible. That's why a lot of my clients are repeated clients. They love me, because I try to, I go out of my way to try to please them as much as possible. And believe me, they're going to come back and call you, and you're going to be the only DJ for life. I have clients who have done their daughter's quinces, then their wedding, then their baby shower. So that's why, because you build a relationship with your clients. All right? So I think that answers our first question. So second question, Willie?
Okay, the second question is, which is the best way to introduce lights, lasers, sub to your packages? Pretty much what we call add-ons.
Exactly. Add-ons. Well, in my experience, if you're a DJ now and you don't have a website, that's the first thing you should do. Create your website. Why? Because I have clients who have contacted me, that they don't live in Miami. Okay, they have seen my website from New York, Chicago, Texas. I have, from anywhere up north. How do they find me? They found me through my website. So that's number one. Once you created your website, that's the easiest way to let your client know what services you offer. Believe me, if it's on your website and it's an add-on, they see it and they like it most of the time, they're gonna buy it. That's one way you could. If for instance, right now, I just purchased my Chave heads, with totems and you know and lights, right, and cables and all that. Thank you to my Chauvet dealer that we have in the group. And you know what did I do? I placed it on my website for my clients to see that we offer it. So you know whatever you have, if you don't have a website, start creating one. And any services that you do, post it on there. You'll be surprised what you could sell once the client starts seeing it.
Very important. I tend to see that, notice with clients that packages are great, like Freddy says, but you got to show them a video, show them a picture. When they see how it's going to look, then they start thinking, because they say, man, I would like to have that in my event. My wedding can look like a club, or my party, my quince is going to look awesome. By you just telling them how much more you're going to charge them for this or that add-on, all they want to think is, this is what I've seen at least. Oh, what if I remove the lights? How much is going to be? You don't want that, because that's also going to affect your show and your performance.
Exactly.
So the lights is going to enhance your event, your performance, and other people are going to see that. Sometimes I've even gone the extra mile where I might not even charge for an item, and I add it because it's going to serve me as a promotion tool to show what I can do and what I can bring to your event.
Yeah, you know, having videos of yourself performing on you know your events will totally work to your favor. You know, clients nowadays, before, you know, we used to have a lot of clients ask us, "Oh, I want to see you at an event." You know, that many times that's not possible because you know clients don't want other people coming in and you know and not being, you know, being at their event. So the best way, you know, we could show them what we do is through videos. You know, I also have mixes online. You know, if they wanna, you know, hear you know, some of the music that I play. I provide also have music online so they could listen, you know, to you know you blending music or the style of music that you play. You know, I always tell them that's not everything that we play. We play according, you know, to what the clients want. You know, according to the guests that you'll be, because you know this happens a lot. I'm pretty sure it happened to you. You know, a lot of clients say, okay, you know, I want is, you know, 80% salsa, but guess what? The clients do not dance salsa. They're dancing more to merengue. So you know, we always tell our clients, listen, we're gonna play salsa, but we're also gonna read the crowd. If people are not dancing to the salsa, we read the crowd and we improvise to what they're dancing to. Doesn't mean that you always rectify. Doesn't mean that we're not gonna play it. It just means we're gonna play it less because the object here is having the dance floor full. Now, if they get a little bit defensive, oh no, I don't care, then really they're paying you. So you know, you're saying, okay, it's your event, it's fine. But you know, 99.9% of the times when I tell the client that, up until now, no one has told me, no, Freddy, I want an empty dance floor. You just play whatever I say and whatever I want, and that's it. No, you know, they'll tell me, listen, I like salsa, but if they're not dancing to it, then you go ahead and do it. Doesn't mean that I'm not gonna play it, but I'm just gonna play it less because the object here is to having a full dance floor.
Exactly. I've had situations where, especially with weddings, where they've given me a detailed list. And I tell them, all due respect, my job is to read the crowd. I will play your list, but I can offer you a better solution. I can play what I think is going to get people dancing, and I'll mix your songs in between.
Exactly.
To make sure that you get your playlist, but also we keep the dance floor jumping. But I've had a situation where they told me, no, I just want you to play down the list. Yeah, and I've done it. And sure enough, an hour into the party when nobody's dancing, then they come to you, please do whatever you want to do,
exactly,
but make him dance.
That's what happens nowadays. Nowadays, you know, we used to not have these problems back in the 80s.
No, man,
right?
Not at all.
You know, it's gotten so easy for people to think that they know what's best for their event. Because, you know, guess what? I'm gonna only do it one time. I've read all wedding websites. I've Googled everything, and this is what I want because I know what's best for my event, right? Well, guess what? They're hiring professionals, which is us. We do this every week. So guys, don't be afraid to tell them, listen, this is, with no problem, we'll play this list, but you're going to have 90% chance that this is going to happen. And guess what? There's a 90% chance that it will happen. Because we're the professionals. We know how to program, what works, I know immediately when a client hands me a list of the music according to the guests that they'll tell me that they'll be having at their event. I could just see a paper and I know immediately what songs will and won't work. Doesn't mean I'm gonna be right 90% of the time. I will be wrong on a few or many of the songs, but we know because we do this every week. We know what's right. So don't be afraid, to respectfully tell them, hey, there's a chance that this might not work, might flop. Am I open to improvise? And most of the time, they will. Most of the times they will.
Alex, who's online, thanks for being there, Alex and everybody else. He also has a comment where he says that many DJs have a problem reading the crowd. And I've seen where DJs only play what they want to listen to or maybe what they only like to mix. You are correct, but that's the wrong approach. Exactly. You're correct. You're supposed to, our main goal is to please the crowd.
Exactly.
That's definitely our goal when people hire us.
Listen, if DJs only want to play what they want, they have two options. Either go to a club that plays that style of music or stay in your bedroom and play to yourself. That's it. But mobile DJs, they have to be open to playing whatever. Russian, Jamaican, Colombian, Puerto Rican, whatever. And this leads to asking questions. I have, like I said earlier, I have DJ Intelligence. In DJ Intelligence, I have a form that I ask. One of the forms that my clients have to fill out is a genre form. From 5 to 0, 5 being what you want to be played the most. I have them select salsa, merengue, bachata, cumbia, bolero, top 40, dance, freestyle, 80s, and then they have to number them. If they like salsa, 5. If they don't like bachata, 3. If they don't want anything played, 0. I don't want no hip-hop, 0. I don't want no freestyle, 0. I want disco, 5. That's what I do to my clients. So the more questions we ask them, the more it prepares us when we get there to the event. Of course, us being the professional, when I get to an event, I see there are more old people, there are more young people, there are more Latins, there are more Americans. Then that's reading the crowd. That's what helps us. Reading the crowd is not learned from one day to another. No. It's learned by being out in the field and knowing, what crowd you have, what are they dancing to, what are they not dancing to. Prepare your mind. Oh, I have old people, I have younger people. It doesn't mean, like I tell my clients, maybe I won't know the first set or the second set. Maybe it'll take me 3 sets to know more or less what they like, what they don't like, what they're dancing to, what they don't dancing to. So don't be afraid to tell it to the clients. You're building a trust, with the clients, and there'll be that way you always, you're always prepared. You're always prepared, and we're not perfect. There are a lot of times where I thought I've gone into an event and I thought freestyle was gonna, but they wanted 80s, but they didn't want freestyle. They wanted more retro or more of the classic rock stuff. So always ask as many questions as you can to your client. It'll help you when you get to your gigs.
The next question.
Our next question is something that a lot of DJs... Actually, our next workshop might have something to do with this. It was actually asked to me, Freddy, how do you organize your library in your hard drive? And I think there's a little fella that kind of looks like you that lives up in New York. That I think he's gonna take about 10 years to organize his hard drive. He might be locked down there listening to me laughing because he knows who he is. But me personally, I like to organize my folder structure with as less folders as possible. Okay, I come from the old school, back in the 80s. I like to have fewer records. I like to be organized. My freestyle here, my disco there. Why? Because I want speed. I want speed. If I can't find a song, like I always say, if I can't find a song in my hard drive in less than 8 seconds, it's time for me to rethink my structure. So I personally like to have freestyle folder, salsa folder, top 40 folder. Maybe inside that top 40 folder, I like to have an awesome folder. Or maybe I like to have something like when the guests are arriving, more down tempo folder, just like that. But I try to keep it as few folders as possible, and very organized. Whatever I have in Serato, I use Serato. By the way, I've been Scratch ever since Scratch Live 1.74. I was using them, and then I moved over to Serato DJ, which I prefer have Scratch Live.
Me too.
But but I like to have whatever is on my. If you take a look at my hard drive, whatever you see on my Serato structure, you will see identically on my original hard drive. Okay, and I also have an identical copy on my backup, which is very important, guys. Backup.
In my case, I've gone to different. I tried different systems. I went to iTunes, got me frustrated. I tried different ways, but the best way for me, I have folders by genre, what I consider, like Freddy said, salsa, merengue, bachata. But then I love what is called smart crates. And with the introduction by Mr. Eduardo Suarez, DJ Manipulator, of the hashtags, now I live and die by hashtags. I have smart playlist for everything. I have smart playlist for my I would say my top freestyles. I have my top disco songs. I have my top merengues. I have for my radio songs, the songs that are on the radio. And all I do, I just get my new music. I tag it properly, which is number one. It's a must. I add my hashtag and I throw it in my folder. Automatically, all my smart playlists are gonna keep all those songs that are already marked with a hashtag. They're gonna go to the right place. That's the way I like to do it.
He's gonna do a workshop next time on that. So what's our next question?
Okay, our next question. Do you really need a terabyte of music at a gig? I'm gonna give you my point of view. I don't carry a terabyte of music. I have maybe, I don't know, let's say 500 gigs. I only use easily 10 to 15% of the music that I carry. Why do we mobile DJs have to have all this music? It's because we don't know who we're going to find at an event. We might find a guy from Russia. I have compa in my library, Haitian music. So I want to be able to please as many requests as possible. So that's why I carry most of my music. I mean, that's not all my music. I carry a lot of music with me, which I've even been thinking about keeping some of that music that I don't use frequently, keep it just on a hard drive, another external hard drive, and just plug it in when I need it. But I happen to have the space. Yep. Today's storage is so cheap, I just have it in there. My Serato works the same. I don't see any lag. So
just on boot up though. Mine takes
a while. Takes a little bit. It's going through all those folders, but I honestly I don't carry a gig. But I mean, sorry, 1 terabyte. But I have a lot.
Yeah, I also have a big hard drive. I carry my videos also. There are some guys who prefer to have their videos on another hard drive, which is smart also too. If you're not gonna play it, I mean, why take it? But nowadays, I do. There's some versions that I play that are on videos that I don't have on MP3 that are actually on video. I subscribe to Mixed Show Tools, so they provide me with a lot of videos, and there's some edits that I do like that are on videos, and I prefer to play it on videos. So that's why I keep my videos and my music on the same hard drive. Then I will need a bigger hard drive. But for DJs, you know, DJs that work at a club that plays specific music, like my friend Vidal that plays.
Yeah.
I love Vidal's gigs, by the way, man. On the pool there on the South Beach. You know, he plays a lot of deep house, so he really doesn't need as big as a hard drive as we do. But you know, we have to please a lot more genres of music, so we need more music to have, because you know, I like to say no as little as possible. And now there are so many options available that really there's almost, you know, there's almost not you know, there's always no way we could almost say no.
Yeah, you can always get the song. Like I log into any of my
exactly
of my
record pools,
and I can get them.
Most probably is there. So you know, there are a lot of options for us DJs. You know, yes, you know, sometimes it is a pain. You know, be honest with you. If I think it's a song that's not gonna hit and it's gonna bomb the dance floor, you know what? I'm not gonna go out of my way to find that song. If I don't have it, it's not gonna get played, you know. But if I think it's something that I really want to please the client and I think it's gonna be good for the event, I try to get it any way possible, you know, whatever I can to do that.
One thing that you have to always be careful, like I do some teen parties. I don't know where they find these songs.
Yeah.
No matter how much radio I listen to, no matter how much record play I go through, they still come up with songs that I've never heard.
Exactly.
But when they ask you for songs, you always have to listen to it before.
Yeah,
because most of them
definitely
are dirty.
Yeah, definitely.
And you don't want to go through that, especially at a school. Like
you don't want abuelita and Jaelira to come, mijo, quítame eso, mijo. You don't want that to happen. So what's our next question?
Okay, how do you handle requests while DJing, Freddy?
Whew. How do you handle requests while DJing? Well, we just got a little bit into that. But, you know, basically, like I said prior, I try to please as many people as I can. We're not going to be able to please everybody all the time. You know, there's going to be some odd requests that there's no way in heck I'm going to be playing, especially if it's dirty. You know, there's no way I'm going to be playing that. If I don't have a clean version, guess what? It's not going to be played. I mean, you know, that's the way it is. You know, I just can't afford... I don't want to risk my client coming up to me and telling me, "Hey, Freddie, take that off, man." You know, that's just embarrassing for me. You know, I built, you know, a pretty good client base, and they know what to expect of me. So I won't break that for anybody, especially a 13-year-old coming to me wanting to hear the dirty version of, you know, whatever song it is. So, you know, I usually have a pad, and I tell them, why do I have a pad? Sometimes, a lot of times, you know, I like my music a little bit low, and I you know, I have very good hearing. Hopefully, Ben Rojas didn't hear that. But no, you know, seriously, the music is loud, so I can't understand what they're saying. So I just tell them, hey, here's a pad, a pencil, write it down. If I have it, you know, I play it. Or also show me on the phone, hey, look, do you have this song? I say, oh yeah, I have it. You know, and I'll play it for them. You know, but. You know, just try to please them as much as you can. I have it, you know, on the pen, or let them show to you on the phone. You know, nowadays, you know, there's a lot of options, you know, for you. Or they could even text it to you if you want.
Exactly. What I do if it's an adult party, I normally listen. I mean, to what they want, and I add it to my prepare area in Serato, so I know to play it later on. Most of the time, adults, you have the songs. The ones that are very difficult are the teens, because they come up with requests that have no idea what they get them, but they come with them. Another thing, even though you have a pad, sometimes, this is what I've caught some of the kids, they scratch the previous song and write theirs below. So the others don't get played before theirs. So that's another thing. So if you can have somebody...
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I've seen that, and it really No, I said, man, come on, don't do that. I mean, I'll play your song, but don't be scratching the previous guy's song. I mean, it's not right. So what I try to do sometimes, I bring one of my kids, and I'll let him download the request, and I just play the music.
Yeah, and also if you do have it on a scratch pad, remember to scratch them out once you play it. Once you play it, scratch out the song. So in case if you have good memory like I do, you know that I forget things real quick, you know, and you play it again, you know why. But let's go on to our next question. And our next question is
Kinda
fire in the hole,
yes.
like we had to say. You know, how do you price a gig? That's a very good question, man. How do you price a gig?
It is.
Really, there's a lot of things come into, you know, at least from my experience, on pricing a gig. You know, first of all, I want to know when is the gig, which is very important. What day is it? How many hours do they want us to perform? What do they want included in that time? That, you know, do they want subs? How many tops do they want? What do they want lighting? So, you know, that's very important. The distance, you have to calculate the distance, because if the event is in West Palm Beach and you live down in Kendall, you know, where the big bucks people are, like this guy right here, you know, you have to travel more. So you gotta, you know, you're out in the field traveling, and not only going, you gotta think about when you finish, you know, and you have like 3 times the equipment I have, like this guy has, and he takes like 3 hours just to break down. You're gonna be coming back home at 6 o'clock in the morning, you know, when your wife and your kids are getting up. So, you know, you gotta put that into your quotes. You know, it really depends, guys, on your experience. You know, it depends on, you know where you gotta go, how much equipment you gotta bring, and most of all, you know, how many hours you're gonna perform. You know, I see nowadays, you know, people throwing in, you know, uplighting or throwing in, you know, all the equipment. Why? Why are you doing it? Just to get the gig? You're undercutting yourself. You know, don't undercut yourself. That's money that you're leaving behind. You know, believe me, if they really want to hire you and they like what you do, they'll book you. You know, and then you could go ahead. Hey, by the way, do you need, you know, uplights for your event? Do you need this by the event? And you'll be surprised how many people tell you, yeah, man. And it helps, like I said earlier, show the video on your website. Have a video of the lights. Look, this is how your event is going to look with this uplighting. This is how, you know, your event is going to sound, you know, with all this sound. It's going to, you know, if you have 250 people, I've seen it, by the way, 250 people, and you're going with 2 Mackies on sticks, guess what? You're not going to have plenty of sound for all those people, okay? So, you know, you need to know how many guests, also where the location that is going to be, because if it's in a small hall, you can't take a lot of bass. If it's in a big hall, you just can't take 2 little Mackies. You know, that's just the way it is.
And it's gonna reflect bad on your performance, because what they're gonna see is that you have a 300 people event and you show up with 2 Mackies. Come on, don't tell me that you can cover properly 300 people. Let's say at least you're gonna have 200 on the dance floor at one time. Some people say no, but you only have to give sound for the dance floor. For 200 people, 2 Mackies, there's no way that you're gonna be able to cover that properly. I mean, you're gonna sound, you might be, you know, cranking the heck out of your speakers to sound decent, but you have to remember, what I like to do when I play music, I walk around the room.
Exactly.
I want to hear how it sounds to the other people that are the guests.
Excellent.
Another thing, when pricing a gig, I think it's best always to, especially for weddings, have a standard, have a base price. From there on, you climb.
Exactly.
Because every wedding requires a lot of work. I mean, I'm talking about between 10, at least in my case, especially when they're on the beach, talking about like 10 hours, because you have to leave super early. You know how beautiful it is to find parking and easy on the beach, and how to deal with the loading docks.
Yeah, exactly.
All that is really, you have to take that into account.
You have to walk like 5 blocks just to get to the ballroom.
Yes. Don't just think it's just because people see it as, no, it's just the 4 hours of the reception. No. How early do I have to get there? to beat all the other vendors.
Exactly.
And how long is it going to take me to leave at the end? If possible, visit the venue if you've never been there.
Yeah, exactly.
Visit it.
That's your best bet.
Because
and you know, again, you know, it really depends on your experience. We can't tell you, you know, a price. You know, you have to decide what is your service worth. You know, we've been in the business for a long time, so it won't be the same for someone who just began, because you know, they have no experience, so they really can't, you know, charge what top DJs are charging, because they don't have that experience. You know, and believe me, when you talk to the client will know, because they will start asking you questions, and they'll know whether you know or not. So, you know, it really depends. You just gotta, you know, you gotta decide what is the best rate that you think will be worth for the amount of time that you're gonna be there. Remember, you're not working, you know, for a minimum wage. You know, we want to try to do this, you know, to provide for our families, you know, or to pay for your school, you know. So when I see DJs, you know, working, you know, 8 hours or 9 hours and taking, you know, 50 lights or whatever, and they're only charging $250, you know, you got to think of, you know, you got to say, man, that guy's going to be exhausted tomorrow. And for $250, guys, I don't think my light bill is that much. You know, my light bill is probably, you know, that'll go on my light bill. So, you know, just, you know, what am I taking? How much time am I investing? You know, where's your event? What do I have to, you know, do at the event? You know, where, you know, how much do I have to invest in that event? You know, so
insurance.
keep all that.
Insurance.
Yeah, insurance also.
Every gig now requires insurance. That's the new model. Everybody wants you to
If you want a high-paying gig at a great venue, at a high-end venue, you're gonna need insurance. You know, you have to, in order to get in. They're gonna. Actually, I have 2 events now in December. That's the first thing they ask: are you insured? So, you know, if you want to do this, you know, professionally, think about that, because in order for you to get that high-end venue, it's gonna come. You could wait. You could do your events, but when that event comes up, then buy the insurance, and it'll last you for a whole year. You know, there are insurances that you could buy for one day,
exactly.
But really it's not worth it. With a little bit more that you invest, you'll have it for a whole year. And if another event comes down the line, hey, I need insurance, you already have it already. You know, in order to get into those venues that they require that.
And let me tell you, believe it or not, that's one of the things that is separating the amateur or the person that just went and got a pair of speakers at Best Buy when they were selling DJ equipment from us. That we've been doing this for so long and we have so much invested in it. The liability insurance it's what's separating us from them. And also, when you give away your work and your services, you're hurting all of us. Because that person is going to expect that from any other DJ. Oh no, this guy gave me this for this amount. And then what you got to do is just turn it down. I mean, honestly, just work to be tired, it's not worth it to me.
Exactly. So, you know, think about it and put a price tag. Guys, if you don't know what you're worth, your client is not going to give it to you. So don't allow the client to dictate what you should be charging. You should know that. And guess what? And you should know the answer to that question before that phone rings. Once that phone rings, you know, the client is going to start asking you some questions. And if they smell that little, you being hesitant, they're going to eat you alive, man. Trust me. And especially here in Miami. You know, us Latinos, man,
I know.
You know, we go digging for those discounts.
Yes, Black Friday, any day.
No, I hope none of you are at Walmart getting that, making those 3-day lines, man. I sure as heck
or
was.
Best Buy.
All right, so what's our next question?
Okay, our next question. Do you ask for a deposit up front or pay the night off?
Whew. Never try to get paid the day of. Always try as much as possible to get paid before your event.
Yes.
You know, a lot of things can go wrong, you know, before leads to that event. That something might get canceled, or God knows what can happen, you know, or any little thing during your event that goes wrong. That's something for the client to hold on to and not wanting to give you, you know, the balance. So always try to get paid beforehand.
Exactly.
You know, a lot of DJs say, "Oh no, I like to get paid because sometimes the client, you know, gives me more." You know what? If you're expecting a tip at the end of the party, that means that you're not getting paid enough. That's the way I see it. If I'm expecting a tip at the end of the party, that means that I had to charge more. So trust us. Get paid as much as possible before your event. Once you get paid before, yes, there are clients, you know, that I don't have a problem with, and I give them that option. Again, like I said prior, I have a lot of clients that know me for ages, for years and years, and I'm not gonna tell them, hey, you know, you gotta pay me 5 days, or I'm not gonna show up. You know, I give them the option. Try to pay me by Friday or by Saturday, or you know, or the day of. I will tell them. But those are people who I know I'm not gonna have a problem with. But, you know, that's not a good way of doing business. Try to get paid 2 weeks in advance, 3 weeks in advance, whatever you think it's best for you and your client.
A deposit, a must. Your date is not secure, not even with a contract, until you get a deposit. Why? Because if you don't collect the deposit, then the neighbor, the cousin, my uncle, who has an iPod and probably play some music, the day of, they can easily call you and say, "Oh, you know what? I'm not gonna need you anymore." Like
Yeah, exactly.
This happened to me like a few months ago. I arrived at the Doral Country Club and I see a DJ there. I said, "Well, I know I got a deposit." So this guy was already set up and playing music.
It happened to me too.
So I said, "You know what? I'm not gonna get into an argument or anything like that." I went and got the coordinator and said, "Listen, here's my contract. I mean, if you want me to leave, I can leave. I already got my deposit. That would be fine with me. But this individual here is not the person that is supposed to be here." So the guy had to pack and leave. I mean, of course, he felt like, imagine, you set up from early and you weren't the one that was holding the deposit. As far as payment, I had a horrible experience with a wedding where the guy didn't pay me $950. Why? Because it was at the end of the event. The guy came up with a line, with a story, and he shorted me $950. I had to think about my family. He said, "You know what? I'm gonna let it go." But since then, I demand 7 days prior to get a full payment, especially if it's a wedding. If I don't get paid, I'm not showing up to the wedding.
I actually sent this guy here to perform at a gig, and it so happened that client did owe me some money. And there are so many options nowadays. You know, she opted to send me the payment on Monday, but I said no. I want her to send me the money now. So Willie actually had to log on to my website, and on my website, again, that's why I said everyone needs to have a website. On the website, I have a PayPal option where the client logged on. They provided their client credit card information. I don't have any credit card information. Do not try to get away from that as much as possible. I don't want to have anybody's credit card information. You know, so they provided their own credit card information, and bam, I got paid right there. So, you know, there are so many options that you could take advantage of. And if a client does owe you money, you know, use PayPal to your advantage. We also have Cash. Yes. There's also Square. There's an option for Square. Just look all these up. You Google it, and you'll be able to find it. I send my phone payment to my brother using Venmo. It's a very good program. I send them $80 every month, and I use that. So there's so many options. Just take advantage of them. Have your client pay you before, your event, so that way you don't have to deal with all this.
Exactly.
You know, you don't have to deal with that, and you don't leave that option open for them not wanting to give you the money. You know,
there's two type of clients. The when you don't get paid before, the one that you have to collect upon arrival because you don't know this person, or maybe you're working for somebody else, and the other type is the one that you can find at the end of the party. You're done and you're picking up,
exactly.
and you're done to your last cable,
Yep.
and you don't see the person that is supposed to pay you. Now you have to go hunt for this individual.
Exactly. That happened to me.
And hope.
It happens to it happens to the best of us, man.
And hope that he's gonna pay you.
Yeah.
Remember, the party's over. What you gonna do now?
Exactly.
You can.
I had actually one client owe me like about $400 and something the day of the event, and the funny thing is, I told him twice while I was picking up, and he was kind of like sneaked, and I had to luckily. Oh, this is another advice I'm going to give you. Due to this was the way why I was able to find them. I found out it was the wedding was in a hotel, but I found out what was his room number in the hotel. And if it wasn't because of that, I wouldn't find out, because by the time I picked up, I was doing an event with my son. By the time I picked up, there was nobody left. Everybody had gone. So, you know, the only option was I was going to call this guy. And guess what? If he knows he owed me money, most of the problem, he wasn't going to pick up the phone. So always find out if if you're in a hotel, find out if they're staying in the hotel and what room are they in. Okay, and I also had another experience real fast, because we only have about 10 minutes. I showed up to a gig, you know, and I also had gotten a deposit. I showed up to do a gig, and I set up. And when I was set up already with my lights, about 45 minutes before the event begins, another DJ shows up. And then we got into, oh, hi, how are you? I'm Freddy from Dance All Night. He goes, oh, you're the DJ? Oh, they hired me to be the DJ. And I said, really? Well, they gave me a deposit. Did they give? Oh, no, they haven't given me a deposit. Well, they gave me a deposit. So, you know, this was a surprise. You know, I actually told him, hey, if you want to stay at the event, stay at the event. You know, he didn't get any money. So I would just pick up my stuff. I got paid anyway, and I'll go. But he decided, hey, look, I'm going to go to another event, you know, that I sent someone else. So it worked out to my favor. But always try to get paid beforehand.
Okay, the next question. Do you ask to be fed a vendor meal in your contracts?
Exactly. Do you ask to be fed a vendor meal in your contract? Well, I don't ask to be fed.
Me neither.
Yeah, I don't think that's appropriate. But I do provide a question. Will they provide a meal to the DJ, yes or no? If they say yes, then that means I could go without eating something to the event, because I know they're going to provide me a meal. If they put no, then I know that either my wife has to cook, and since she doesn't cook on the weekends, I have to go to the nearest Subway or something and buy a meal before I get to that venue. You know, so that's, you know, really a question that I wouldn't put on the contract, you know, for them to feed you. You know, because really, if it's at a hotel, the Fountain Blue, you're talking about, you know, a pricey plate, and, you know, not too many clients, you know, are going to want to, you know, go that route. So just, you know, if you do want to put it on there, you could provide it as a question to the client, but never, you know, for them that they have to feed you. I don't think that's appropriate. That's just my opinion. You know, everybody's opinion is differently. That's a good discussion for the group. So those of you who are online, you know, if you want to continue this discussion, provide it in the group.
Julian online made a comment. He says, I don't ask or request food, but some places demand the client to pay for the DJ, photographer, and sometimes they don't even serve you. That is true. Another thing that I like is when at the end of the event, when they ask me, did you eat? How would I eat if nobody brought me food? And I don't ask for food. He also says that some places give you food after the guests have been served. And the good professional places give you the food ahead of the guest, which is the logical thing to do, because once they finish eating, they gotta dance and you gotta play.
That's another reason why I really, you know, my wife always argues with me that I don't eat, but a lot of times I'm so into the event and I'm so hyped up, and my mind is going at 100 miles an hour, that the last thing on my mind is food. I just don't get hungry when I'm eating. So, if the client did pay for my plate, I would go and eat, but I prefer to be behind the booth, playing the track. Very rarely I like to go get away from the booth. People come up, they expect to see a DJ behind the booth. So if you're not there because you're out in the back eating, it's kind of something that I don't want for my image, for my company. If I'm there to spin, I'm there to spin first. And if I'm able to eat, if I have 5-10 minutes, I'll sneak away and I eat. I grab a quick bite and then I come right back. But I always try to be as much as possible behind my booth.
I agree with you 100%. Another thing, if it's a buffet, I would never go and serve myself unless they invite me to. If they don't tell me anything, listen, I have no problem. I'm gonna be hungry, but I'm there to do a job. I'll just eat later, but I would never take it upon myself to go and serve myself food from anybody events without having them inviting me to eat. That's just the way I think it should be.
Yeah, I'll give you something that happened to me one time. Believe it or not, and trust me, this was the last time I worked for this person. And it came down to one of the questions that we provided: why you should get paid before. This client owed me $300 back in the 90s. He owed me $300, and I ate, and I without their approval, I didn't ask them. I just went to the buffet line and I ate. The client saw me and he didn't say anything. So when it came time to pay me, he wanted to deduct the plate that I ate. So that's another reason why, always wait for the client either to come up to you and say, Freddy, if you want, you could eat. I always wait for the client to invite me. I never go without being invited. Always wait, because you don't want that to happen to you. So always either ask on the contract. Don't say, hey, you have to feed me. Because a client might see that and might say, hey, we don't have an extra $70 or $80, to feed you and your assistant. So that makes it $160. So just ask. If not, grab a meal before going. Take a power bar, like my friend AJ does. He went with his little cooler, with a power bar and Gatorade and whatever, So try to eat before your event, so that way, you'll have no problem. If you're like me, that I don't require too much food to energize me. I really don't mind. I'll eat before or I eat after. So
Exactly.
We're coming up in the hour, so we want to finish it at 9 o'clock. So we'll get down to 2 more questions and then we'll say goodnight. Our next question. Oh, by the way, while I'm reading the question, look at Bert, DJ Bert. He just asked the question there. So,
Yeah.
What's the right amount of percentage to pay a helper? I call it a roadie, someone who will take to help us. Really depends on my opinion. It depends how much time I'm gonna need them for. It depends what do I need them to provide. If I need assistance, if I'm gonna go out and MC and I need them to provide their own equipment as a backup. A lot of times when I work with either Willy or Felix or whoever I take with me, I ask them to bring their controller. So this way we have backups, and we could take breaks or we could feed off of each other, So these guys all pay more because they're actually DJs. They have the experience. But if I take, Juanito de Hialeah or Pablito de Saue, listen, guys, you want to pay your helpers good, so next time you need them, they're going to say yes. If you pay your helper $50 and you have them working for 8 or 9 or 10 hours, guess what's going to happen? That guy's not going to want to work for you anymore. Okay, so pay them good. Pay them 100. Whatever you can. If you get paid well, I tell them this: the more I get paid, the more they get paid. If I work overtime, they're getting paid overtime. Okay, believe it or not. if I work overtime, yes, I'm gonna pay them overtime. Okay, because they're there for that extra hour. Okay, and if I'm getting more income, they're gonna get more income. So I roughly from 100, 150, $200 depends. The more, there are times where I have paid them $250, for weddings because I needed them to do more stuff, carry more stuff. So the more equipment you have, the more hours that you have to provide the service, the more you could afford to pay them. So next time when you need them, they're gonna say, "Oh man, Freddy took care of me last time. Oh, Freddy fed me last time." Yes, when I finish the party, ask Felix. I invite him to dinner, or I invite him for a few drinks. Okay, take care of them. So next time they'll tell you yes.
In my case, I happen to have two elves in my house, which are my kids. They're 17 years old now, and I pay them between 75 and maybe 100, because in their case they're double dipping. I'm their father, so I support them anyway, but I want to keep them motivated. So that's what I use most of the time. And on some occasions, I might bring a DJ with me the same way that Freddy said. It's the same thing. I'm going to bring out this question that DJ Bert asked. He says, how do you handle photographers trying to connect to your to your controller for voice for the video? It just happened to me on last week's wedding. I let him connect since the client was a good friend of mine, and I made it clear that if anything happened, it was on the photographer. In my case, what I've been seeing lately is that they've been using these portable devices, which are called, what is it called? It's a little device that you actually put on top of the speaker, and they get all the sound from there, so I don't have to worry about it. Or, like Freddy's showing right now, a board.
This right here will be the answer to your question. This has been a lifesaver for me. Listen guys, the more we work with the professionals, the more our clients will love us. Don't make it difficult for them. Tomorrow, you might need them. They need you today, you might need them tomorrow. So whatever you could do for them, if you can make it happen, make it happen. If you have a controller, this is your best bet. Buy an external mixer. You could plug in 4 mics if you have to into here. You could get feed for your photographers, videos from right here. Okay, I use it at all of my events. First of all, because my controller's mic input is lousy. I use this. I connect my controller to 1 and 2. I connect my 2 cordless mics, okay, to 3 and 4. I hook up my Mac audio out to play from iTunes if I need to one of these, and whatever. If I need my phone plugged in, I plug into here. You name it. If Abuelita needs her iPod plugged in, I could plug her in right here. So you buy one of these. It's very cheap. With one event, you could purchase this, and this will be a lifesaver.
Definitely. Another thing, something else which might be like a separate question. How do you guys handle the situation with the hora loca? You get this guy who grabs your mic and swallows your mic, screaming and spitting over it. After the hora loca, I normally have to get another mic because you have to do a whole sanitation process when you get home. I don't know if it's best to just carry a more inexpensive wireless mic, but then you might compromise sound. But these people just destroy your mic.
Yeah, they do. I actually have 2 wireless mics. I have one that I just purchased, and I have my older one. The one that they're going to get, guess what's going to be? The older one. Okay, so, but guys, the more we work with the professionals, you never know. It's a small world. You never know tomorrow who you're going to need. And they might just have that cable that you need. And guess what? They don't forget. They have a good memory. They say, oh, no, you're DJ Freddy. You that guy that didn't let me connect to your system last time. So nowadays, even, I mean, they come in with their little, what you call that device?
Yes.
I have one of those over there too.
Ben probably knows. Ben, it's
Yeah.
one of those things that you record.
Yeah, that you record out. I bought one. Shame on me. I even forgot the name.
Handheld.
And let them plug into the back. They could even do it from the back of your speaker. You know, they plug into the back of the speaker and they got audio that they need. You know, so try to make it.
Zoom, that's all right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ben. So I knew you knew.
Try
Zoom, one of those things.
Exactly. Try to make it as easy as possible for them. You know, the more the team works together, the more successful the event is going to be. So always keep that in mind. Guys, we have our last question, and we have to go, man. We've been here for an hour, and you know, this guy, I have to pay him the big bucks, man.
Bro,
he's not cheap.
I carry my passport.
You know?
I gotta go back home, down
You
south.
know? So this is going to be our last question for tonight, and we want to do this again after the holidays. We're going to do this again. So, you know, if you're not a member of the group, please follow us, DJs, producers, and remixers on Facebook. Ask for us if you're not there. I hope you all are there now. Man, we got 20 viewers, man. Thank you guys. You know, you guys are awesome. Our last question of the night. What about a fellow DJ that goes to assist you with your equipment? I think we actually answered that already. You know, I personally pay more, you know, to my roadie who's going to DJ, who's actually going to DJ, who means that I'm going to step away from the controller. I'm going to step away from the controller and I'm going to leave him playing music to the crowd. So, you know, those guys, you're going to have to pay more because, you know, they're more experienced, they're more professionals, you know, and they're going to help you out more in what you're doing.
Ben was asking, why is our logo backwards? We happen to be using the front camera of the iPhone instead of the back camera. Next time, we'll use the back one so DPR doesn't read RPD.
Yeah. I can tell Ben hasn't seen any of our shirts, man. Ben, come on, man. It's only $20, bro. Come on, purchase one of these, buddy. Come on, man. 20 pesito, man. Come on. All right, guys. Hey, I want to thank you, man. On behalf of Willie, myself, thank you guys for tuning in. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Any questions you guys have after this, let us know. Hey, man, you guys look ugly as hell on TV, whatever it is. You know, create a post, put it on the group, and we'll be glad to you know, to answer them for you.
And also let us know if this was a good idea, because not every idea is good.
Yeah.
I think we can reach more people. We can have more discussion. Maybe in the future we're going to improve, where we're going to probably try to get more participation of you guys. But to keep it on an hour is going to be kind of hard.
Yeah. So, you know, this is our first one. So more down the road, we're going to be having, you know, a better studio, you know. So, you know, thank God, you know, we're here and we're able to do what we love. We're able to teach you guys. Without you guys logging in and asking the questions, you know, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you guys for tuning in. And we're going to post this on a few DJ groups. So please support DPR, because, you know, our vision is to touch as many DJs as we can. And how can we say, you know, get them to perform better, you know, to inspire them to do a better job, to earn a better living. And, you know, hopefully, you know, they quit the day job. And, you know, we get to do this, you know, 7 days a week, right? And you don't have to work as hard as this guy does.
Exactly. I want to thank Maggie for the stage.
Yeah,
awesome
my wife, man.
You're the woman. Thank you so much.
Thank you, baby. I'll be home soon. Cook me some good meals. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for tuning in, guys.
Thank you.